There's a chance you've never called the Nebraska Family Helpline, but plenty of people have.
Between January of 2010 and July of this year, 17,000 calls have come in. No matter the time or the nature, every caller speaks to someone.
Yeah, Katie Bohn is a program manager and Kyle Kinney is a clinical supervisor. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Well, break this down for us. What is the helpline and how do families use it?
Absolutely. The helpline is a very critical resource in the state of Nebraska for parents that are experiencing any mental health or behavioral health concerns with their kids. So we started in 2010 after the Safe Haven crisis. A lot of you remember that, where parents were dropping their kids off at
fire
hospitals.
Department,
Yes, hospitals, fire departments, police stations, and it really highlighted the need for a single point of access for parents to get help for these issues.
So remind us, in some cases, right, the parents, if the child was newborn or whatever, then it gave them a safe place. But in some cases, the kids were older, and I even remember some families were coming in from out of state.
They were.
And leaving their kids at hospitals.
And most of those reasons for doing that were for behavioral health or mental health issues. So
there was the breaking points.
Absolutely. They said, we can't do this anymore. We're at our wits' end.
But it's not for people who are thinking about taking their kids to a hospital and dropping them off. It's for everyday issues.
Or it could be that severe.
It could be, but being a parent, it can be a high stress environment there.
We all know parenting is very difficult, and there's not one rule book for handling every situation. So, and there is still a law in Nebraska where, within 30 days of a child's life that you can drop a child off. But this is a different resource for families.
Like,
so,
can you give some examples of why families would want to call?
Certainly. We have families call for very simple questions. That preventative idea. Maybe their kindergarten teacher, their child called home and said, hey, we saw this in school today. Mom says, oh, and they give us a call and say, hey, the teacher's reporting this. What do we do about it? Is it a big deal? We talk them through with our crisis counselors, give them some ideas, give them some approaches, kind of review what's going on in the home, those kinds of things, and give them some strategies. Other times, they're teenagers that are in complete crisis, drugs, alcohol, not coming home, truancy, those type of things. And again, they call us. We try and connect them with resources. We have some wonderful partnerships in the community statewide that we can set them up with directly right on the phone. Other times it's just de-escalating them at 2 in the morning and saying, let's get through the evening. Let's regroup in the morning and we'll follow up with you. And then let's create a plan. And, we might be talking to them 90 days out. And so we really want to connect to that family and make sure they're getting access to the resources that they need.
Is there anything parents shouldn't say? If I'm a parent and I'm calling, I might kind of not tell the whole truth because I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't, can you shoot straight, or is some of that what you say on the call, could that be used down the road?
Well, we're not Child Protective Services.
But I just think, for a lot of people who are calling, they're going to have that concern with you in the heat of the moment.
No, and it's kind of two sides of that. We're not Child Protective Services. It is meant to be an anonymous helpline. At the same time, we do work with all sorts of resources. Sometimes working with Child Protective Services is exactly what that family needs. Not because they're going to come in and remove the kids, but because they're going to come in and they're going to have access to even greater services and resources that no one else can get to because of who they are and what they have. Just because CPS is involved doesn't mean kids are getting removed.
Right, that the family is being torn apart.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't always end that way.
Getting help is always better than not speaking honestly.
But it really runs a gamut of the questions you get from kids, like you said, that are in crisis mode, that need some serious help right away, to others. Maybe you have a 5-year-old who you just can't get. My kid won't listen. How do I get my kid to listen to me? You know what I mean?
Mike, he really wants you to tell him how he can get his kids to listen.
Literally right now.
Yeah, right.
No, we get parents that say, hey, my kiddo did this at school today and the teacher just emailed. They were a little concerned. Not an absolute crisis, but we will absolutely spend time talking with folks on the phone
do kids ever call you? Because that can be a two-way street. Parents aren't the only ones who get frustrated.
That's right. Sometimes they do, not as often, really, because we target parents and other professionals in the field. So it can be teachers, other professionals that have questions.
And something that I'm noticing here through this conversation, it doesn't end with the call. It just starts there, and then you're getting connected to agencies and organizations that can really help solve the problem. So let's show you the number. We've had it up throughout our visit here. It's 888-866-8660, and even if you're not using it now, it might be worth plugging it into your phone or jotting it down on a
for
Post-it.
those families that have used it, it's become a great tool, a great
tremendous
resource.
Thank you. It's nice to have you here, Kyle.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate your time as well.
That's right. Joan Rivers was a one of a kind, and we're reminded of that watching back our latest conversation
with the comedian. We're going to play it back for you in about 10 minutes.
That's right. And attention tinkerers, DIYers, inventors, and crafters. Learn about a new event coming to Omaha. That's next.